When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
The Dental Download podcast is your source for insight from conversations with fellow dentists, specialists, and leaders in the industry. With new episodes every Monday morning, I'm your host, Dr. Haley. Let's get into this week's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Dental Download podcast. And I am really excited to be bringing you an episode kind of on theme for May being Mental Health Month. And I wanted to do something rather, advice-packed and meaningful when it comes to my last episode about dental school. As dental students, we know how important it is to take care of our mental and physical health. And it's no secret that our repeated motions and twisted positions can lead to chronic pain and injury. But we're not doomed. By addressing physical health through proper ergonomics, we can create a culture of wellness and help improve the safety of our entire dental team. One way to do this is through sound operatory design and the right equipment. Our friends at ADEC are big on ergonomic health. Everything from the chairs and deliveries to stools and furniture is designed with thoughtful features that keep posture, visibility, and comfort top of mind. It's never too early to consider how the equipment we use affects our physical well-being. So check out the link in my show notes to see how ADEC can help position you for success. So for our intro this week, for our life updates, I just got back from a Nashville conference for my work. So it was with our coach program that the office uses, and it was myself, the other 3 doctors, and then most of the team. So about 17 of us down there. And I got back from that on Wednesday, and then I went right into graduation on Friday. So other than not having my actual license, I'm pretty much officially Dr. Haley now. The license will go through as soon as the school processes my final transcript, but they gave me the diploma. The licensing department of Michigan said that I have everything ready to go other than the diploma. So really shouldn't be much in my way now once all of that processes. I am going to talk a little bit about what we covered at the work conference just broadly, because obviously they're paying for this coaching, so I don't want to give away too many tidbits for free, but I will give a little bit of motivation from the conference and kind of broadly like what type of topics a coach coaches on for practice, and when it's not only the doctors, but it's the entire team. So what does that mean? What does it look like? I will talk about that in this intro as well. But the topic of the week's episode is mental health tips for dental school, as I said. So for my recommendation of the week, this is kind of a silly one, but I feel like the recommendations of the week are always just going to be like a fun, more so lifestyle recommendation for just something I'm doing or reading or watching or liking that you could maybe check out if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration for something new to try. So I would say after dinner walks, or walks for clearing your head, because we are moving into like a nice time of year when the weather's a lot better. And for me being in the Midwest, it's very cold in the winter. So come spring and into summer, it's really nice to be able to get outside more often. So I would say if you're feeling groggy or lethargic, get outside, like a quick 10-minute loop outside of your office, maybe shorten your lunch a little so you can get a quick walk in, or if you want to go after dinner because you have to get some cleaning done around the house but you don't feel like it, something like that, a little walk and some fresh air can really do wonders. And what I learned this week is when we're going to talk about everything broadly, the topics we hit on at the conference. So essentially, the first day was all about the systems and the flow that they recommend for the office and the patient experience in terms of new patient experience, how the patient moves throughout the office from walking in the door to then getting treatment and leaving. There's a bunch of in-between steps that they kind of curate to make it a really seamless process and also to increase case acceptance. And then another big thing on that first day was reviewing some of the verbiage that they recommend using to keep things in a positive light and to really psychologically work at motivating patients and trying to get them again towards case acceptance, but not so much monetarily, really for their own health, and explaining how each thing that we're seeing is disease, is something that needs to be addressed. We're not going to do patchwork here. We need to take care of everything. We're not going to just put out the fire in the kitchen because the living room's on fire too. Things like that. So a lot of verbiage and communication and working within our team, from front desk, treatment coordinator, hygiene, dentist, assistants. How do we all work together? Scheduling, everything like that was a lot of the things we talked about on day one. And then day two of the conference was more introspective and personal. And that was led by someone that works at the company as well, but he was more focused again on our personal mission and why we're even in dentistry in the first place. What are we hoping to help patients towards health? For what reason? What kind of life do we want to come from working in dentistry for ourselves and for our families and everything? Again, more so what's motivating us, and then how can we be the best versions of ourselves, the healthiest, the most calm, the most patient, the most loving. How can we show up like that every day? How can we be continually trying to improve ourselves? What's kind of our most ideal life? How can we take steps towards that? So it was a lot of more mindset and reflection and goal setting, and then making commitments to yourself to work towards those goals, and then therefore making commitments to your team to show up as your best self and serve them and serve your patients. That was kind of what day two was all about. So I learned a ton without going into too much detail of full programming for 2 days. And in the evenings, we had time for connecting, and it was my first time outside of the office with the team members, other than I've been with the doctors before, but first time with all the assistants, hygiene, treatment coordinators, front desk, and everything. And I was able to have nice one-on-one conversations with each person and really get to know them better, which was a really nice opportunity to have before starting work in about a month now. So I'm very grateful to have been invited and to have that opportunity. And it just made me even more excited to start and got me even more educated on the way that they do things. So it really was a win-win-win weekend. It was wonderful. And as for what motivated me this week, I'm going to choose a quote from one of the booklets that they gave us, because there were so many good ones in there, and I think I'm going to be pulling from them week to week when we do these solo episodes. And I actually really liked this quote for the topic of this week's episode when it comes to mental health. And I obviously want to preface this that with such a sensitive topic, I'm not trying to discredit anyone's diagnoses or experiences. This is just general advice that I have for taking care of your mental health. And of course, you need to seek a professional opinion. Same way a psychologist won't give dental advice. I won't give actual medical diagnosing for mental health or tell you what you have to do. Definitely please get help from a professional, but these are just some things that have helped me. And I also liked this quote because it would have helped me a lot in some moments of doubt and lack of meaning or lack of direction. And that can be a really big issue in dental school, like the imposter syndrome and the comparison. And we will talk about that, but I thought this quote is motivating and thought-provoking. So that's why I wanted to share it this week. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by a lack of meaning and purpose. And that's by Viktor Frankl. So I thought that was interesting. Of course, there's very hard moments in life where maybe that quote doesn't quite apply, but when it comes to day-to-day struggles and just feeling like maybe it's hard to feel grateful for being in dental school and hard to remember why the heck you signed up for this, it's good to look back on that and figure out, okay, well, I did, and there must have been a reason. What's my purpose? What's my why? Why do I even want to become a dentist? What kind of life am I hoping to live? How do I plan to serve people? And that can really help get your mindset back on track to keep you motivated and keep you refocused for what is truly important. So now we're going to jump into the main topic of the episode, 5 mental health tips, concepts, things that help me for having a good mindset during dental school. So first would be trying not to compare yourself. And how can you do that? Or what should you be avoiding? So it's easy to compare yourself to your classmates, of course, seeing how other people are scoring on things or seeing how other people are doing externally outside of school. Maybe it feels like they have more free time than you, or maybe they have a happier life than you, or more friends, or more this and that, or they don't have as much stress, or they're able to balance it all better than you, or again, looking at grades. But in reality, there's no one that is exactly like you, that learns exactly like you, that interacts with people exactly like you, that touches people and makes an impact in them for them the same way that you do. So there's no sense in comparing yourself to others because there's only one you. So the only person you should be competing against or working against is yourself. So only competing against yourself, focusing on yourself first, and trying not to worry what others are doing. But that also presents a layered challenge in dental school. Like, let's say you got it down, you're not worried about what other people are doing. But another thing that I struggled with was maybe comparing yourself to yourself, but a past version of yourself. And I also find that, generally speaking, to be not helpful either. So maybe you felt like you learned faster and studied better in undergrad, or maybe you thought you were in a healthier state at this time of your life compared to now. And in reality, like, you can't change certain things about your situation. Like, you only have so much time in the day. You need to study however much you personally need to study to be successful for whatever academic standards you're setting for yourself. So you need to look at where you are right now, this day, and what is your ideal now. Maybe you draw on some things that used to make you happy or that used to make you motivated and bring that in now, but you can't recreate exactly what you had in the past. You can't expect yourself to be exactly as you used to be. You need to look at where you are now and grow from there. And nothing's going to happen overnight, unfortunately, but it's important, I think, to go into dental school or to reset yourself if you're going off the rails in dental school by looking at where you are now, assessing where you want to be or what is your state of ideal, and then seeing how you can work towards that to be your best self. But comparison against others, against your past self, really doesn't help at all because it's not going to change anything. The only thing that's going to change things is action, and you are in control of almost all of the action that you can take. So keep that and run with it. The second thing is community is going to be so helpful for your mental health, really. And for me personally, my most helpful community was outside of dental school, and I guess there was also one within dental school that was really important to me. So outside of dental school, it's your family. And then for me, it was my partner and my friends from back in undergrad, my friends from grade school, even that I keep up with still. Was nice if you wanted to reach out to them to de-stress, hear about how their life is going, reconnect, catch up, and it just helps you disconnect from the things that go on in dental school, because when you tend to be around dental students, you tend to just talk about dental school and you tend to vent a lot. And it is helpful to have that support system, but also it's nice to have people you can disconnect with. So I really think it's important to have multiple different types of communities that serve a different purpose for you, and not to get too sucked into only being with dental students all the time. And then for me, the other group within dental school that was really helpful for me was through the Christian Dental Association, those Bible studies that I did every other week during all 4 years of dental school, if you've heard me talk about them in past episodes. So that group of dental students was extremely helpful for me because they are the only ones that really understand what it's like day to day or what challenges you're having are other dental students. But this specific group, we were like-minded, we had similar values, and we could encourage each other and support each other in a way that wasn't too negative, I would say. You don't want to be around a bunch of negative Nellies all day because, of course, that's just going to kind of make you negative. So tip or topic number 3 is I really think you can't have super, super top tier mental health without taking care of your overall health. So your holistic health has so many elements, including your mental health, but there's so many other things that if one is super out of whack, then it throws everything else off too. At least it did for me. So D1 and D2, I was very, very anxious, I would say, because they are so heavy didactically. You put so much pressure on yourself for practicals. You do just deal with a lot of that imposter syndrome, or at least I did. And just kind of making your way, figuring out what's dental school going to be like, what's my life going to look like, and also growing and maturing. Like I was much younger then than I am now. It's been 4 years, and I can look back and say like, oh, wow, like little Haley struggled with this, or it's so crazy looking back. I feel so different. I feel so much more comfortable, so much more confident, so much more self-assured, or whatever it may be. It's easy to say that looking back, but in that moment, I know I didn't feel that way, or I didn't feel that way all the time. So certain things that helped me in those very hard years was meditation. I use the Headspace app, and it has a really, really, really cheap membership for students. I think it was $9 for the entire year. It might have even been less, but that was nice because I never really had any experience with meditation, and there was a bunch of options. So let's say you were feeling angry, you were feeling frustrated. There's different things for that. You were feeling hurt, you were feeling sad, you were feeling lonely. There's different things for that. You're feeling anxious because of something. There's like all different options and different types of meditations. And there's also like just basic meditation skills to teach you how to do it in general. And they also have things to help us sleep. They have like sleep stories and sleep music to help you fall asleep. And I know that's something people also struggle with a lot during dental school is sleep. Mostly probably because, again, of anxiety and nerves and overworking themselves and being worried about what the next day is going to bring. A lot of my peers really struggled with that, and that took a big toll on their mental and physical health because if you're not sleeping, again, it just throws everything else off. So I think that that's also helpful for you for sleeping too. So I really recommend looking into that. And then as for trying to eat healthy, I used HelloFresh those first 2 years, and that cut back on time with grocery shopping. And then when I did have to grocery shop, I always did grocery pickup. So I would order it online and then I just drive up to pick it up. They'd put it in my car and I could leave. I cut down a lot of time on actually doing the shopping. Usually you save money because you get to see all the coupons online when you're clicking through things, and usually you don't end up like impulse buying things that just sound good because you're so hungry. So that was helpful for me as well. So I was able to use HelloFresh to get a variety of healthy meals and ingredients. I still had to take the time to cook them, but I actually liked cooking because it was an opportunity for me to de-stress a bit. If I had a really busy week, like midterms or something, I would cook 2 out of the 3 meals, and then I'd have that like Sunday to Thursday, and then on Wednesday night or Thursday night, I would cook the final one, something like that. So I would still kind of meal prep with the meals that HelloFresh gave me, and that worked for me. And again, I was able to have a lot of nutrition through a lot of different color and balanced meals that I think was crucial because I didn't have the brain capacity to plan out meals. And I personally find it to be rather depressing to eat just like chicken and brown rice and veggies, like exactly the same thing all the time. It was a way for me to kind of enjoy eating still and enjoy what I was doing again with the cooking and everything, and made me a little bit happier. Honestly, I just really enjoyed it. It was a nice way to try something new, and it taught me a lot about cooking too. Now I don't get the service anymore. Starting at the middle of second year or so, I stopped getting it because I felt like I could do it on my own now and I was a little less busy. But again, these were all tips that really made a big difference for me at the beginning of dental school, and I do think that's when most people's mental health is taking the biggest toll, unfortunately. And the last thing with our overall health is definitely your fitness routine. And honestly, of course, that's going to vary a lot when you're super busy. But I know for me, my mental health is so much worse when my physical health is being neglected. So take that as you will. Try to find some type of movement that you enjoy and that is realistic to incorporate. Please start stretching as soon as you can, every day ideally, like just once in the morning, once at night, or before you start patient care, before or after sim lab, something like that, even if it's only a couple minutes at a time. Our bodies take a large physical toll from the work that we do. So the sooner you can start incorporating that, the better it's going to be. Tip or advice number 4 is short and sweet. Kind of already mentioned it, but there is no shame in professional help. There is no shame in needing sleep studies and needing multiple different types of doctors trying to help you to get things back on track. I feel like people's health gets all out of whack in dental school a lot of the time just because we're not taking care of ourselves, because it's really hard to do sometimes. And I hope this episode isn't scaring anyone that isn't in dental school yet, but I would just say that it's no shame and it should be encouraged to do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself and take ownership and accountability for your health, and to love and take care of your body because it's the only one that you have. And whatever you are physically able to do, you should be grateful for and try to take care of what assets you do have. So that is all I will say for tip number 4. And tip number 5, cheesy but essential to say, and exactly how I want to end this episode, this reminder that you are not alone. And more importantly, probably than anything, if you're struggling, is that dental school is temporary. I'm a living, breathing example that it comes, it happens, it might be terrible sometimes. There's going to be a lot of great times too, and eventually it's over. And whether you're super excited about that because you were miserable a lot of the time, or whether you're sad and you loved it and you made a lot of memories and you learned a lot and you're maybe not ready for the next step, or maybe you're somewhere in between like me. It's bittersweet. There's good and there's bad with the ending of it, but nevertheless, the ending comes and dental school will end at some point. So dental school is temporary, I promise. Also, dentistry is almost never life or death. And being a dentist is your job. It's your profession. It's something we're extremely proud of. We work extremely hard for. But being a dentist is not your entire identity. So make sure you have other things that you love. You have other people in your life that are separate from your dental identity and your dental journey, because there's more to life than dentistry. As much as we love dentistry and we love the impact it makes on our patients and the life it provides for us, there's more to life. So don't let it be all consuming. Don't let it ruin you on some days. It's going to be okay. And you're always doing your best for yourself. You're doing your best for others. It's a very noble thing that you're doing, trying to become a dentist and working towards being a great dentist because you care so much. So make sure you care about yourself too and treat yourself as well as you are probably always treating others. I feel like people in healthcare are just gems and really, really great people. And sometimes we forget to care for ourselves as well. So with all that said, that's everything for this week's episode. That's everything about mental health in dental school that I thought to share this week. So going forward, we're going to have the continued format of alternating between guests, solo episode, and I think all the future solo episodes are going to be topics related to me as a new dentist. So get excited about that. And I can't wait to continue this podcasting journey and sharing with you all as I'm learning and growing everything that I can. So thank you all again for the support, and I will talk to you next week.